What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to 63,000 small business owners need $10,000 EIDL grants regardless of size or location. It is Friday, March the 26th, TGIF 2021. Please do me each favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Hashtag EIDL with your comments below. And don't forget, follow me on Twitter right now at Remote Online. I just tweeted at Miss Isabel Guzman within the next couple of hours. I need all of you watching after this video to please go there, retweet, like it, and of course, add your own thoughts in the form of the comments. All right, today, I'm going to quickly summarize what's happened in the last 72 hours with respect to grants and loans and extensions and all sorts of good things. And then I'm going to close out to a personal address to Miss Isabel Guzman, who again is the current new head of the SBA. So ladies and gentlemen, grab a glass of wine, a martini, an ice cold beer, or in my case, yes, another cup of coffee. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was a crazy week. Up and down and up and down and good news and not so good news. I don't know about you, but I'm glad this week is over. I'm going to go out tonight with a couple of friends of mine. It's very, very warm, almost 80 degrees here in Atlanta. But tomorrow and Sunday, I'm going to rest. I'm going to take it easy because I've been busting my rear end like many of you have. But let me quickly summarize what's taken place. We have, in the last 24 hours, seen a huge number of people on this channel get approved for the targeted EIDL advance for being in a low-income community. So here's the deal. About 35 to 40% based on our estimates are going to qualify as a low-income community. The SBA is going to give you $10,000 if you have a 30% economic loss and fewer than 300 employees. You have a chance at another $5,000 probably next month as a supplemental grant if you've suffered a 50% economic loss and you have fewer than 10 employees. And no, I don't think you're going to have to do 2 applications. So if you already applied, hopefully you show 2 consecutive months between March and December of 27th, 2020, where you dropped at least 30 to 50%. And if so, if you're in a low income community, you're going to get a $10,000 deposit or the balance thereof, and another $5,000 probably in the next 5 or 6 weeks. Everybody else that's in middle and high income communities needs one of 2 things to happen. Jacki Rosen's EIDL for Small Business Act, known as S4227, needs to pass. And Chuck Schumer, my goodness, how many times have I called you, emailed you, harassed you, poked you, and probably virtually punched you in the mouth? You need to call a vote. You have bipartisan support. You've got John Cornyn and Ted Cruz in Texas too. You've got others. I believe even Rob Portman supports this. And this guy doesn't want to give money to anybody out of Ohio. So look, Chuck, please call a vote. Because it's 10 grand, regardless of size, location, or credit score, and it gets rid of the caps. Miss Isabel Guzman did us a real solid by moving them from 150 to $500,000, Chuck. But we need them up here at $2 million for some of our larger small businesses, like the restaurants that you were fighting for last week, Chuck. So please call a vote on S4227 so we can get rid of the caps, get everybody that's watching me right now, 63,000 strong, $10,000 or the balance thereof, removal of the low-income community requirements, and the caps go back to $2 million where they belong. But if that doesn't happen, yesterday I read out loud a section of Jacki Rosen's letter. It's pinned in the top comment here on YouTube, where she called on Miss Isabel Guzman to use her discretion. And she certainly has, right? She raised the loan caps from 150 to $500,000, and then she's about to offer, as of April 6th, you're going to get an email. It's not a portal, so just relax. You're going to get an email, even if you're in reconsideration, and you're going to have a chance at not just 6 months or another 6 months, which is what we fought for along with Karen Mills. Thank you very much. It's 24 months. So you get a whole year's worth of the pandemic plus another year's worth of working capital, aka a loan, at 3.75% to rebuild your company. So that's phenomenal news. But this brings me to the big elephant, 800-pound gorilla, etc. in the room, Miss Isabel Guzman. Let me just say, I'm blown away by what you've done in such a short period of time. Raising the caps, giving us 24 months of working capital at a very low interest rate is phenomenal. I have thousands of subscribers here that are going to benefit from this tremendously. However, I also have even more on this channel that have bad credit. In many cases, through not much fault of their own. When you're forced into a lockdown, Miss Guzman, and I'm certain you're well aware of this, many of these people couldn't even work. If they had businesses that required them to go out into the community in places like New York City or California or even Miami, they couldn't do it for upwards of a year. So I need you to please use your discretion next week and remove the caps on the loans and the grants. You've taken a solid step. If we need more time to go from 500,000 to 2, fine. But there are probably about 5 million people, 63,000 strong on this channel, that don't fall into a low-income community. They may have lousy credit, so in either case, they can't get access to any grant money that they were promised in the CARES Act. And again, I know you understand this. I'm surmising that you have limited resources and you're trying to get through the low-income community folks first. I totally understand that. Then you've got the live venue grant going live here in the next 10 days or so. Then you've got the April 6th email to give us 24 months of working capital. But according to members of your own staff, last year, 9 million people applied for EIDL grants. 5.7 million got them, which means a little over 3 million applied between July the 15th, when you ran out of money, and December 27, which is the cutoff date. So with all due respect, I appreciate the 3 million folks or thereabouts that are in low-income communities that can get upwards of $15,000. That's a godsend, and we're grateful for that. But we have an even greater number, almost 65% by most experts, including yours truly, that either don't reside in a low-income community, they may have terrible credit below 570, so they not only don't have access to a grant if they live in a middle-income community, but they can't even get a loan. So unless you change the requirements, President Biden, with respect to credit scores, we're going to have 4 or 5 million people that are left out in the cold, and we can't go through this another year. So again, I'm not going to belabor this any longer than it needs to be. But all you have to do is go down through my comments. I know your staff has for the better part of the last 12 months. Some of them think I'm pretty interesting and I'm doing a good service. Others think I should be locked up and thrown in jail. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, Isabel. But if you've seen enough of me, and I know you have in the last couple of weeks, and I appreciate you reading and engaging with some of our tweets on Twitter, we cannot let these folks down. We have our great veterans. I grew up minutes from Fort Drum, New York, the 10th Mountain Division. I salute and appreciate our veterans. So many of them got started in a business last year or the year before, and they've been gutted. They were depending on this $10,000 or the balance thereof for the last 12 months. We cannot just turn our backs, Joe Biden, Mr. Middle Class, on middle and high income communities. They need as much help, if not more in some cases, than folks that reside in low-income communities. And as we've said a million times in the last couple of months, do you know how many people are living and or working right now in a middle-income community but trying to survive on a low-income budget? They've seen, Isabel, some of their economic loss. I've seen it with my own eyes. Here in Atlanta, there are Black and brown and Hispanic and disabled veterans, thank you very much for serving this country, that live within 10 miles of where I am. And they're not getting any access to grant money. They don't have good enough credit to get this 24 months alone working capital unless you change the rules, and you probably can use your discretion. But I once again lean on Jacki Rosen, who called on you in that letter just the other day. Use your discretion. You've done a tremendous job. The 24 months of working capital, the $15,000 in grants of targeted to low-income communities, I and others are forever, ever grateful. But we have 2/3 of our fellow small business owners from every walk of life that have been absolutely decimated. They've been absolutely destroyed and forced into lockdown as their businesses, in many cases generational, go down in flames. We can't let this go on any longer, so I'm asking you one more time. Please use your discretion. Get rid of the low-income community requirement. Give 63,000 small businesses on this channel $10,000 or the balance thereof, regardless of credit score, size, or location. And when you get around to it, perhaps this coming month, Please take another leg up on the loan caps from $500,000 to $2 million, where they've been since the 1950s with respect to the EIDL program. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and Miss Isabel Guzman, I appreciate you. I love each and every one of you. And thank you so much for watching.